Hey everyone, it's Lisa Mears here, and today I'm sharing the Stamps of Life Club products for July of 2023. And I'll also show you my design process for the cards that I made with these products. So this month there's a beachy summery vibe with some Pelican stamps, and if you take a look at the stamp set, you'll see there are two pelicans and a pier post. And some of the sentiments on the stamp set are hi, hello, get well soon, miss you, congrats, and delivering sweet wishes to you. If you're in the Stamp Club, you'll get the Pelican2Stamp set, and if you're in the Die Hard Club, you will get the stamp and the matching dies. And my favorite club of all is the Card Kit Club, where you'll get a box filled with lots of goodies to make several cards every month. And this month's card kit is called Summer Days. So let me go ahead and pull everything out of this box and show you what's inside. So with every card kit, you'll get an inspiration card that has some sample cards that you can make using the contents of the card kit. You'll also get a plastic storage envelope. This envelope I use to store cardstock, but you can also use it to store your club contents. You also get a pack of A2 size envelopes that measure 4¼ by 5½ inches. And you get several sheets of 8½ by 11-inch cardstock. So you'll get 4 sheets of the powdered sugar cardstock, which is the Stamps of Life white cardstock. You'll also get 1 sheet of the Blue Jay cardstock. This is the light blue color. You'll get a kiwi. You'll also get 2 sheets of the Ginger Snap, which is like a craft color cardstock, and you'll get 2 sheets of the Lemonade, which is light yellow. You'll also get 2 sheets of the Cloud, which is a gray cardstock. So those are your cardstock colors for the month of July. And there's also a paper pad included, and I'll flip through here so you can see the papers. So you can see there's some pelicans in here. And this sheet here, you'll use your coordinating dies to cut all of these images out. Just use the shadow die and those will cut right out. If you don't have the dies, you can always use your scissors. And then this next sheet, you will need the add-ons to cut these pelicans out. There is an add-on stamp set called More Pelicans to Stamp. And if you don't have that stamp set, they do have it on the Stamps of Life website, or you can just cut those out with your scissors. There's also the Summer Days sheet, more pelicans, there's some fish. I love this sheet. I think this is my most favorite one in the whole paper pad. You can see that it is a beachy scene with the ocean at the top, and then it blends into the sand. Then you have some more summer days and some more pelicans, some smaller fish, and here's another beach pattern, but this one is blue, whereas the one we saw previously was more of a green tone. So you get 2 of each one of the sheets that you see here in the paper pad. You'll also get a sheet of square enamel stickers and some chipboard shells. You can add some ink colors to that or spray them with ink. There's also a sheet of puffy stickers that have pelicans and seashells. And then you have some of these silver dots, some Ginger Snap ribbon. And then my favorite of all is the A1 size card base. This is the A1 rounded corner die set. It will make a A1 size card. An A1 size card is smaller than your traditional A2 size card, and it measures about 3½ inches by 4�7. So you get the die set to make the actual card base. So the line down the middle will actually score your card base. And then you also have some layering dies. You have some rounded rectangle layering dies. And then there's also this background die. This is a really fun summery background die with all of those little suns. Then you have some word dies that say Happy Summer Days, just like you see here on the front. So there's one other club that the Stamps of Life has, which is the Fold It Club. And the Fold It Club consists of a die set that enables you to make a shaped card. And it also comes with some stencils that match the theme. And this month's Fold It Club is a sea turtle Fold It. And I previously released a video showing how I made this card with the folded club set for July. And I'll link that video at the top right corner of this video and in the description box below in case you're interested in watching it. So I will have links to the Stamps of Life clubs in the description box of this video and on my blog. So if you're interested in joining the club or even upgrading your membership, I always appreciate when you click on my links because it helps support me. And by using my link, you'll also get 500 bonus club points to spend in the Stamps of Life store. So let's go ahead and make some cards using this month's club contents. I'm going to start out by using the piece of pattern paper that has the pelicans that can be die cut, and I'm going to die cut these pelicans with the coordinating dies. And for my first card, I knew I had to use this beach pattern paper, so I went ahead and cut that one down to 4 1/8 by 4 inches, and I'm going to add the pelican to the pier post. So I'm going to build a little scene here with the pelican, one on the pier post and one facing the other pelican, and I'll build a little scene on this square. I'm also going to bring in some cloud dies that I had in my stash, and I die cut 2 clouds, and I'm just inking up the edges with some of the Oasis ink from Scrapbookcom. This is a very light blue ink. I just wanted to add some ink to the edges of the clouds because by doing so it adds more depth to those clouds. I'm going to stamp the sentiment on one of the clouds, and the sentiment says hello. I'm using this sentiment from the stamp set. And then I'm going to add these 2 clouds to my scene. So one of the clouds is going to be behind the pelican that's on the pier post, and it's also going to go off of the pattern paper just a little bit. And then the other cloud will be on the right side above the second pelican. So I'll go ahead and glue those down, gluing the clouds down first, and then I'll be able to glue down the pelicans because, as I said, the one on the pier post will be right on top of the cloud. And just so you know, any extra supplies that I might use in my video today, I will have them linked down below in the video description. And I will have up-close pictures of all of my cards over on my blog at lisamearsdesigns.com. And you'll also be able to see the club links and any product links over there as well. So I'm adding my scene to a piece of pattern paper. The pattern paper I chose is the ginger snap with the stripes, and that I cut to 4 1/8 by 5 3/8, and I'm just putting the scene and adding it to the middle of the pattern paper. Next, I'm going to take some of the seashell puffy stickers and add them to the pier post, and then I'll add that layer to an A2 size white card base. My card base measures 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inches. And that will complete my first card. For my second card, I'm using that beach pattern paper again. This time I'm using the one with the main color being blue, and I'm also using a hillside border die, and I'm going to die cut the bottom part of that pattern paper where the sand and the ocean meet. And I'm going to add that to the Pelican pattern paper, just add it to the bottom. And the Pelican pattern paper is 5 1/4 by 4 inches, and I added it to the 5 1/4 inch side. So I wanted this card to look like it had pelicans flying, and you have the sky in the background since that pelican paper has that blue background. And then the bottom part of that scene would have the ocean and then the sand. So then I'm going to put the pier post in the sand, and I'm going to put the pelican in front. So this is the smaller pelican that I'm using. For the sentiment, I'm going to use the Get Well Soon sentiment, and I'm going to add it to the bottom right corner of the card layer. I'm just going to stamp that out in black ink. And then I'm going to add a seashell to the bottom of the pier post, and then I'll add that to an A2 size card base. For my next card, I'm going to use the A1 rounded corner die set to make a card. So I'm going to take out the dies, that I'll be using, and I'm going to start out by taking out the rounded rectangle and the sun background die, and I'm going to place the sun background die inside of the rounded rectangle die, and I'll add some tape to keep them together. And I'm going to die cut a piece of the Blue Jay cardstock. And when that comes out of the die cutting machine, you'll see that all of these little sun die cuts come out, and you can actually save those and use those on another project if you wanted to. Next, I'm going to add some of the Oasis ink around the edges. This is the same ink that I used in the first card. So I'm just adding some ink to add some more depth and more interest to this card. Next, I use the same rounded rectangle die and die cut a piece of the lemonade cardstock, and then I'll glue the sun background onto the lemonade cardstock, and when I do that, you'll be able to see all of those suns coming through that background piece in the yellow color. For the sentiment, I'm using the words Happy Summer. And I die cut the shadow layer out of some guava cardstock. I just took the guava from my stash, which is a hot pink. And then I die cut the actual words out of white cardstock. And then I'm going to add the words to the shadow. And then I'll add the sentiment to the lower right hand corner of that card front. I'm also going to bring in the puffy stickers. I'm going to add a pelican, but I wanted to have something for the pelican to stand on, so I'm adding 3 of the white enamel squares to the bottom of the card. And just put them in a row, and then I'll be able to put my pelican there as well. And I'm also going to add an umbrella behind the pelican. I think that will bring out some of the colors in that pink sentiment by using the pink umbrella. I think that's super cute. So then for the card base, I die cut the card base out of some of the ginger snap cardstock, and I will add my card layer to the card base. And that will complete this card. And moving on to my next card, I'm going to take the same beach pattern paper that I used in one of the previous cards, and I'm also going to use the rounded rectangle die from that A1 card base, and I'm going to die cut a piece of that paper. I wanted to have that blue beachy background for my scene, and I also die cut some more clouds. I'm adding ink to the edges of those clouds just like I did with card 1. This time I'm using a pelican that's flying, and I'm also going to bring in a yellow sun. So I did die cut that sun background die. I just die cut one of the suns out of a piece of scrap yellow cardstock, and when I add my clouds, I'm going to tuck this sun so that it's behind the clouds just a little bit. So I'll have 3 clouds, and then I'll have the sun, I will have the flying pelican, and I'm also going to add a sentiment. And the sentiment I'll be using is the one that says delivering sweet wishes to you. I placed the stamp without stamping it down yet, and I'm going to go ahead and start gluing some of the die cuts down first. I'll add some foam tape on the back of one of the clouds because I want that to be popped up on the card for some more depth. But before I actually stick it down to my card layer, I will be stamping out my sentiment, because you can't stamp out the sentiment when you have that die cut that's adding dimension. It'll be harder to stamp it down. So I'll go ahead and line my stamp up in my Misti and then stamp that down in the lower left hand corner. And then I'll go ahead and add that last cloud to my card layer. And since some of the clouds extended beyond that card layer, I'm just going to use my scissors to snip off the excess cardstock. I'm going to add that layer to a piece of the yellow striped pattern paper. The yellow paper measures 5 3/8 by 4 1/8. So I'll add that right on top, and then I'll add some of the silver circles to my card. I'll add this layer to an A2 size card base, and then that will complete this card. For my next card, I have a piece of Ginger Snap cardstock and a piece of the Beach pattern paper from card 1. The Ginger Snap measures 2 3/4 by 4 1/4, and then the Beach pattern paper measures 2 1/4 by 4. So I'll add those two together. I also have a larger piece of the Ginger Snap cardstock that I cut to 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and a piece of the blue with the Ginger Snap stripes, and I cut that to 4 by 5 1/4. So here I'm just adding a piece of the ribbon. I'm going to add it underneath the smaller card layer. I did put some double-sided adhesive tape on the back to stick it down to this pattern paper. I'm going to wrap it around the back of the pattern paper and just tuck those smaller sides on the back of the paper. And I'll do that for both sides, and then that pattern will end up being glued on top of that larger piece of Ginger Snap cardstock. I'm going to add a pier post with a Pelican on the smaller rectangular layer, and I'm also going to bring in 2 seashells. I'm going to add some of the Oasis ink to the top of the seashells just to give them a little bit of a blue color. And I'm going to go ahead and add the pier post, the Pelican, and the seashells to that smaller rectangular layer. But before I add the seashells, I want to stamp out my sentiment on that layer while it's flat. So I'll go ahead and position the stamp. I'm going to use the word hi, stamp it out next to the Pelican, and then I'll take that out of my Misti and I'll go ahead and add the seashells. So I'll glue one down to the cardstock, and then the second one I'm going to use half of the seashell. I'm going to put some double-sided adhesive foam on the back side. So part of the seashell will be adhered flat to the other seashell, and then part of it will be added to the cardstock with foam. And then I'll go ahead and add that rectangle to the larger piece of pattern paper, and I'll add it right to the center. Next, I'm going to add some of the silver circles to the card front, and then I'll add this to an A2 size card base. And I'll finish this up by adding a little bit of glitter to my seashells. I'm just taking some of the Scrapbookcom silver glitter pops of color and rubbing it on the seashells. So here's an up close look. And here's another look at all of the cards I created with the Stamps of Life July products for 2023. I would love for you to leave me a comment and let me know which card is your favorite. And once again, if you're interested in joining the club, I appreciate when you use my links because it does help support me. All product links will be in the description box of this YouTube video and on my blog at lisamearsdesigns.com. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you like videos like this and want to see more, be sure you click that subscribe button. Thanks for watching, everyone, and have a great day. Bye-bye.